And I've had conversations face-to-face with people who will present that argument, and I will present a response, and I kid you not, it's, no, but wait a minute, you can't have a moral code without God. You have to have, no, here's why, and you explain it again, and they sit there nice and patiently and don't interrupt, and then they say, yeah, no, but you can't have a moral code without a moral authority. Okay, well, we are the, oh, no, we're not the authority, God's the authority. And it's like the conversation we had today about the Hitchens discussion, which I'll let you do rather than me.
Yeah, I mean, just real quickly, I did remember that thing that I was trying to think of earlier. It was about stripping away apologetics. People who have never been raised in indoctrination will argue apologetics, and they get to the end, and the person says, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I have faith. I feel like there's a God. And the atheist at that point, who's never been indoctrinated, just says, what in the world just happened? I just spent 2 weeks online arguing with this person, rebutting all these arguments, looking up scientific theories, providing information, and I get to the end of it, and they say it doesn't matter that you refuted everything, I got to have faith. The reason for that is because this belief was put into them when they were 3 years old. And they built it up from that. The apologetics got layered on later as the reasons for justification for that belief that was already instilled. And like you're saying, once they hit that age where they accept it, they then are looking at the apologetics and questions about the apologetics and not necessarily questioning God. But the thing about Hitchens, which was sort of the same thing, it has to do with these pre-assumptions, and God being the main pre-assumption. It was a video I watched last night on YouTube. It was like a two-part video with, I guess it's Todd Friel, I think was his name.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do this interview with Hitchens, and I told Matt I didn't even know who this was, and I was thinking, who in the world booked Christopher Hitchens with this person, because the caliber of the interview was just so not what he's usually put into. So he wanted, the person interviewing was obviously a theist and wanted to say, well, we're going to do this I'll do these 12 questions or however many questions, and we're going to have a hypothetical. What if the Christian God that you reject exists? And we're going to hypothetically say this God exists, and I'm going to give you like the doctrines, and you tell me how that would change your perspective on things. And so he presents Hitchens with all these arguments, about, well, if God made you, then don't you believe that you would be obligated then to do everything that he says? And Hitchens is like, absolutely not. And the guy goes, well, remember now, we're talking hypothetically that there really is this God, and he really is the God of the Bible. And Hitchens is like, yes, I understand, and I don't believe that that would give him, he's like, by what right would he be able to then dictate to me everything that I should do? Wouldn't that just be tyranny? And the guy is like, well, but remember, hypothetically, this is the God. And Hitchens is like, yes, I understand the hypothetical is that this God exists, and he is there. And he's just like, well, he made you. He made you. He gave you life, and he gave you this planet. He gave you all your success, and he's responsible for everything in your life. And wouldn't you be obligated then to do everything he says? And Hitchens is like, absolutely not. I would not be obligated. And he's like, but this is a hypothetical where God is real. And Hitchens is like, yes, I understand that. I'm saying that I would not feel obligated to this being under those circumstances. And all through the show, he was like going through the Ten Commandments, he was going through the resurrection and the sacrifice of Jesus for salvation, and down the line, Hitchens is like, no, I would not feel obligated by that, and no, I do not feel like I need to follow the Ten Commandments as, all of them. He's like, I follow some, like murder and stuff, but that has nothing to do with a command from God. I do that for other reasons. And the guy's like, but remember, we're going from a hypothetical, God is real. And it's just like, I understand that we're going through this hypothetical that God is real. I'm assuming that your God is real, and I'm telling you, it wouldn't matter to me what his commandments were. If his commands include that I have to grovel and worship and spend my life praising him because I'm alive, no, I'm not going to do that, and I wouldn't feel obligated to do that. And just throughout, about the 6th or 7th time, this Todd Friel guy said, we're going from this hypothetical. I was saying to my computer, he understands. He understands. Why don't you understand that he understands? And it was just this complete disconnect in Friel's brain where he could not grasp that somebody could understand the scenario that he's explaining and not agree with his own conclusions. It was beyond the pale for him. I don't. It was impossible for me. I don't know how Hitchens. I mean, however many times he insisted that he did get it. That yes, if this God was real, I would still say this. And Friel could just, his response was always to go back, like Matt is saying, and say, you don't understand what I'm saying. And it's like, no, Hitchens totally understands what you're saying. You don't understand that a person can think differently than you.
I figured out, though, how Hitchens can keep his cool far longer than me.
Oh, he's
I think
amazing.
I'm going to start having scotch on the show.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So, anyway, did that answer your question and then some, Guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for taking my
People
call.
forgot you were even on the line.
I did too.
Thanks a lot for calling. We really appreciate it. We've got, is it Tal in Tucson?
Yeah, actually,
Hello.
this is
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, two.
There's two people?
Yes.
That's a first.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah,
go ahead, Tal.
I am. My question for you guys was what you believe what reality is, and if there might possibly be a creator of the universe.
Okay. I used to have a definition for reality that I used in the belief lecture, and I'm not going to get it exactly right.
Okay.
But reality is that which is demonstrably true, independently verifiable by others. Now, obviously, that would exclude some things that most of us would consider in reality. My own emotions are not necessarily verifiable by somebody else, and yet they are part of reality. They are part of what I experience. The distinction that I'm trying to make here is that reality is what I experience with the understanding that my experience may not always be accurate, and where it's possible to verify, that determines what is or isn't reality. On this, the second question of whether or not I think it's possible that there's a creator, if you're asking about an intelligent, godlike, I don't even want to use that particular word, an intelligent creator that is responsible for the origin of everything in the universe, no, I don't think that's possible. And I think that there's very good reason for that, in that that level of intelligence and power and everything else is something that would necessarily have had to evolve. I don't see how it could be possible that something like that exists or existed. But I'm not saying that I believe that I don't see how it's possible. But if someone is to demonstrate how it is possible, I'm more than happy to change my mind. So maybe perhaps I don't want to say that, use the distinction between improbable and impossible, because then it makes it sound like I think that there may be some way. I'm not aware of any way that this sort of thing would be possible. And I think that it is, but the moment that someone provides evidence for how it would be possible, I change my mind on that.
Okay. So, what's your, I guess, opinion on, I guess, quantum mechanics and other dimensions?
I don't know enough about quantum mechanics to say one way or the other from my limited experience. To me, it seems like people that are way too enamored with math and make it kind of magical. Now, that is an incredibly layman, math-ignorant opinion, but I don't see any relevance there. When someone points out the benefits or the evidence that, you know, the particular idea or hypothesis that people derive from quantum mechanics is actually true, okay, that's cool. But it's in the neighborhood of science fiction for me at the moment. Not that the actual mechanics are wrong or misunderstood. I'm talking about the various hypotheses about alternate dimensions and multiverses and things like that.
It'll be interesting when they can demonstrate it.
Yeah, you know, and I don't see that it matters at all. What my beliefs are about multiverses or alternate dimensions is
Right.
completely irrelevant.
Right.